What is going on, everyone? I hope you're doing well. I'm feeling a lot better. Had that cold slash flu that ran through the house for the past couple weeks. Still a little under the weather, but good enough. So, I want to talk about season 2 starting, which I'm several days after the initial start. Currently, it is Saturday for me. So, I don't like doing a knee jerk reaction to something when they make changes. I like to kind of get a feel for it, get my own opinion, see what other people are saying, test that out before I make a response or put up my opinion. So we are jumping ahead. I've still got a couple videos that are going to be coming out, one multiplayer and another is a camo grind, that are still back in season 1, but I wanted to jump ahead and do this for season 2. And as the title shows, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. I had some hopes and some thoughts and things I'd like to see, and it just really didn't happen. Now, that being said, I'm still having fun. I'm still enjoying my time, and that's all that really matters. So I'm still going to play. But I do want to go over what changes happened with this new season, what I thought was going to happen, what actually happened, and what I'd like to see in the future. So let's get into it. So the first thing I was looking for with a new season were new story missions, and that did not happen. Uh, no Act 5. And I want to reiterate here that Act 4 having a single mission to just go into the dark ether, that was kind of lame. And the fact that we start a new season with no story missions right out of the gate is just a choice I don't quite understand. Um, there should have been something here. Act 5 should have started. I know the roadmap says that's coming later. It shouldn't have come later. It should have come day 1 of the season. Now, if you wanted to add more story missions mid-season, sure, go for it. But there should have been something here. There really should have been something here. And the choice not to, I don't quite understand. So that was disappointing. Um, Sad, but moving on. So the next thing I want to cover is in the gear tab. And specifically, I want to talk about your stash. I was really hoping to see an increase in your basic stash, not your purchased or rewards, but the basic one. And it's still at a maximum of 10 if you haven't glitched it out. Note here that the purchase section, which is things that you'll get from Battlepass or the gifts they have, that one seems to be able to go wherever it needs to, so that might be infinite. But the stash has stayed at a maximum of 10. And I was really hoping to see an increase on that. Do I think it should be unlimited? Well, absolutely not. Because again, you sacrifice content, enjoyment, and the playtime over speed. And having a very big stash is what would cause that. So I understand why they want to keep it a little bit low. But my issue with this is the stash is basically my forward operating base, or my home base, or my locker, or my armory, whatever you want to call it. This is what I have. These are items that I've either made myself or found and brought out, or mission items. And I use these in order to set myself up to play a match. And I feel like that stash should not be one item larger than what I can carry into a match in my rucksack. So I have 9 spots in a large rucksack, and I have 10 in my stash. So basically just one extra item. I would personally like to see the stash at a minimum, and this is a minimum of 30. Give me 3 runs where I can fully gear myself up with items that I've taken out. Um, that's my personal feeling on it. Should it be more than 30? Could. Should it be 100? No. But 10 is it's limiting. It's far too limiting, and I know that's the point of it. It's, they want to limit our ability to just go in and blow through everything, because if we didn't, everybody would already, and some people that do the Tombstone glitch who have been able to access more items than that, they're already getting tired of it. They're saying, you know, hey, you know, I'm bored. I'm already bored. Well, of course you're bored with it. You, for lack of a better term, cheat coded the best possible gear you could have so that you could just go in and just start slaying. Um, how much fun is it to be 90% through a campaign and go back and do the first mission? You know, when you did that mission the first time, you were like, wow, this is hard. This is crazy. But now that you're better geared, now that you've got better weapons, you got everything else, you go back and it's a cakewalk. So there has to be a limiting factor on that. And that's just from a game designer's point of view. But the other side of that coin is I don't care if you're going to limit me, but you can't have it this tight. Um, you've got to give me the flexibility to do the things I want to do and some of the things that I need to do. And limiting my stash to just one item over the largest bag I can carry is far too constrictive. And I was really hoping to see this increase, and they just didn't do it. So my concern there is that they've done this to extend the time it takes us to complete the content because there's no content coming. Um, or there's just not going to be that much content. Again, this is not a prediction, and I have no inside leads or secret information. This is just what goes on in my head. I'm afraid that they're forcibly extending the time it takes us to do things because there's not going to be that much for us to do. And this was the biggest thing. This was what I was really looking for, was to see an increase in stash. But it just didn't happen. So, you know, it is what it is. It is one of the largest complaints that people make, is the stash is too small. And with the Tombstone glitch and being able to drop items in, there were ways that you could extend that stash, which is a workaround, but it shouldn't have had to have been worked around. And I'm not sure what the future holds for the stash. And when you look at mine here, yeah, I've got a pill bottle and a locked diary that I don't need. I had them for helping a friend out, so I can get rid of those if I want. I could clean that up, but still, it's got to be more than just what I could put in a rucksack. Uh, some of the times, this 3 day cooldown on the flawless crystal, I still think that's a little bit excessive, but everything else to me seems okay. The classified items with the 2 day cooldowns, I really don't use the wonder weapons. The Scorcher maybe, but the other two, I don't know if I've even crafted the other two. That's my personal preference. But the Ether Blade, the Dog Bone, and the Golden Plates, I definitely make use of them quite often. And a 48-hour wait time, that's a lot. It's it's just far too constrictive, just like the stash limit. So, you know, Activision, if you're listening, you gotta loosen up a little. You you really need to loosen the restraints and let us play a little more the way we want to versus the way you want us to. I know it's your game, but we do pay for it. So that's my thoughts on that. I'm still a fan of these weekly and daily challenges, the weeklies especially. Sometimes they don't work, which is discouraging, but you know what? Sometimes things happen, and if they can fix it quickly, I'll forgive them. If it takes too long or that, you know, what are you guys doing? But do your job, Q&A. That's basically my thought on that. As you can see here, I've already completed 2 and almost got 3. After doing this film, recording this footage, I did go in and finish this off, and I did get that aftermarket part. I was on the fence about aftermarket parts in the beginning. I wasn't sure that it would make that much of a difference, but in some cases, these things are actually pretty cool. And I would suggest, if you have aftermarket parts, don't go into a match and try to use it, see how it does. Take that thing into the firing range and test it out. Uh, Sometimes it's a very minor issue, minor change, but in other cases, it does completely change the way a gun works and takes it from something that you're used to something you're not, and that can be a fun time. So, kudos on the weeklies, and we'll see where they go from here. As far as the calling cards go, and I'm big on those, we don't see any changes towards the games tab, really. Um, so these have been remained the same, but we do have the new Prestige opens up for Prestiges 6 through 9. It does kind of bother me that the first one has 5 and then everything else has 4 from that point on, but that's minor. I actually haven't even looked at these. Not really going to concern myself until I'm at least on that second tab, maybe the third, just to get them done faster. There's other things I want to focus on right now, but it is on the horizon, and we are going to be making a switch to not only just being zombies, but also multiplayer. So hopefully we'll start knocking out the prestige tabs on both of these. And I did like that. I mentioned that a long time ago. I do like the fact that they split them up. So it was something I always enjoyed in multiplayer, and I'm glad to see it here in zombies as well. So let's talk about the Battle Pass now that came out with Season 2. Every season you get a new Battle Pass. The way I like to do my Battle Pass is if you look at it, there'll be a central structure that if you unlock specific cells, it's going to basically, for the least amount of token usage, you'll get access to every single location. And that's how I pick, which ones I want and the route I take. So that's why you see my battle passes laid out the way I have it here. One of the things I try to key on is going for the new weapons. Anything new that they bring out, I'll head to one of those cells, try to unlock those first, just to get my hands on a new weapon. I usually like to do one and then work my way to the next one while I'm using the first one that I just unlocked. But to be honest, most of this stuff is just going to be cosmetic type things. Sometimes you'll get good blueprints. Mostly it's stickers. You do get your XP bonuses and things, but it's just something you unlock. It's just a way to progress through and gain things for doing what you're doing. But I want to talk about something specific here, and we'll look at this cell right here. And you see they've added in ether tools to the Battle Pass. So by unlocking this section here, I'm going to get access to, what is it, 2? Yeah, I think it's 2. So I'll get 2 legendary ether tools. I don't agree with this. I don't like the idea of consumables being in this, because once I use these, they're gone. So what did this actually get? Now, yeah, it's very similar to your XP bonuses, but the XP bonuses are doing something else. This is something I can make, that I can find by doing contracts. So I don't think this should be in here. Um, I'd rather see something like maybe some 100 COD points or whatever, or a sticker or a charm. But to put consumables in the like this that I can fabricate or make myself or find myself into the battle pass, just I don't know. There are some people that say that this is kind of a pay to win concept here, where by buying the battle pass you're getting tools. That this isn't pay to win. I mean, I think pay to win is definitely something, and you can see examples of it. This isn't one. This is looping something very tiny and very minor into that category. So this isn't really a pay to win. It's I don't even know what it is, but I would prefer not to see these kind of items as part of the battle pass. Um, I'd love to know your thoughts on that and what you guys think. Like I said, COD points maybe, or even if it's like a double XP thing, this is something useful. I just don't like seeing something that I can find or make being part of the Battle Pass. My, it's the way I feel. Otherwise, you look at some of these weapons, some of these blueprints that you do get out of here can be kind of neat. Some of these items you can unlock specifically, and I think that's good for a Battle Pass. But I just get hung up on the consumables. Don't agree. So there's been an addition to the Strike Team operators here with Season 2. You can now have 4. I think this is probably not a hard limit. I think we'll see more bundles come out that'll give you additional operator slots. But when this first came out, when the game first came out, I was kind of surprised that there was only 3. Being that in DMZ you could have up to 20. And I figured they would just copycat that over and give you the option to have more operators. But to be honest with you, after playing for a short while, I kind of realized that you don't need multiple operators for zombies. The reason for that, and when you look at back in DMZ days, I would have operators that had like a stealth vest, or a comms vest, or a med vest, or a large rucksack, or, well, actually back then it was a backpack, but a large backpack, or a secure bag, or a scavenger bag. There were different pieces of equipment that served a different purpose. So that was the reason to have multiple operators, each with different loadouts, depending on what you wanted to do when you went in. With zombies, everything is very set in stone. It's just a 3-plate vest. It's just the size of the bag. There's no customization needed. So having 3 operators was fine. With them doing this expansion, I'm hoping that maybe we see some equipment that would be more specialized in the future. Hope's a dangerous thing, though, so let's calm down here. But looking at this new operator, it's a skin. If that's your thing, great. If not, you don't have to equip it. The extra slot. And then we'll look at these weapons. Sometimes they hide some attachments that you're not going to be able to unlock or find on without buying the bundles. And there's a reason for that. Why are they putting they don't need to put ether tools in here. It's thank you for possibly speeding something up, but to be honest, if you're going to spend the points on a bundle, you need to get something you can make every 3 to 5 hours, depending on what they decide to put in here. And then again, calling cards, stickers, and emblems. Most of the time when you buy a bundle, if you're going to buy it, it's for the first several categories: the weapons, the operator skin itself, and this extra slot in this case. But do I really need a 4th slot? Do I need apparently I've got an issue with kill streaks. Need to go get some of them. But you look at it and there's just not the variety of gear, of specialized gear, that applies to a situation that you need in zombies. And there's also pathways for that. They could do the med vest so that you can revive people faster. I guess comms vests would only really work, and stealth vests would only work on mercenaries, unless they made it a way for, specifically to hide or detect zombies as well. But those are just pipe dreams, and I'm not the one in charge, so who knows. But there's just not really a reason to expand your operator slots without having the need for specialized gear. And you also want to point out here, when you go to the store itself and you look at this Demon Glow operator, it says down here zombies and DMZ. And I don't know if that's just them being sloppy and not taking the DMZ option out, or can this character actually be backgraded? Can you go into DMZ and use this guy? Which I wouldn't want to do that, because wow, is he ever glowing. Talk about, kick me sign. But yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence as to whether or not having more operators in here is something that's really required for the way the game mode's set out. There's just not a need to have different loadouts and or different, there's no specialized gear to make it worth your while. So I guess we'll have to see. So now we'll move on to the events tab. And I kind of like, and always have, but I like the way they do this. You have the weekly challenges, which, are just go out and do what you're doing. And these are like small little mini events. They're not designed to be too difficult, but they can be time consuming. And it really depends on your how much time you have to play as to whether or not you can get these kind of things done. Even with a medium amount of playtime, you should be able to get these done. This one here with the specialized portion, which I kind of like this, that differs from the way they've done these kind of events in the past. These specialized events, I've only been able to find the armored zombie skulls in the tier 3 zone. So if you're not capable or not comfortable going into tier 3, then this event's gonna really drag on for you. But you'll need to find some friends or something if you want to complete that. And then the standard event that they usually run is just play the game, and as you get XP, you'll progress through. They just recently did one where it was 1.5 million or 2 million. It was crazy. And that took a whole lot of, but that little dragon charm was cute. It took a whole lot of playtime in order to get it done. Or you're just burning through your XP tokens. And the end result is that you get this camo. So it's a cool thing to do just for playing, but excuse me again, still a little under the weather. But, is this within range of what I would consider your average player? And is it something worthwhile? Like, you're just, this isn't something you have to focus on. It just happens in the background. But what amount of playtime are they looking at? And this seems to have been bouncing. I've seen this where originally you could get, the entire event done in just one good solid day of playing, and then it kind of expanded out a little more. Then it got ridiculous with the one they just had with the millions of points. So this one looks like, at 500,000, that is probably within range of an average game time player. Maybe have to focus a little more, maybe burn off an XP boost, or if they have a free weekend type boost thing. But I do like these events, just adds a little something to it. So kudos on that. There's a couple things that I want to talk about here that are some of the changes that kind of happened under the radar. First off, let's talk about changes to weapons or perks. And in this case, looking at the weapons, the big thing I've read about and seen is that the Tonfa melee weapon is no longer the best option for trying to kill the Stormcaller. And there's some complaints about that, but overall it seems to just be like, whatever. And I think everyone can agree, if you use the Tonfa as your melee weapon, it was ridiculously strong. All the melee weapons are pretty strong, but for some reason the Tonfa was just absolutely ridiculous, and people recognize that. And when you see something in a game, when you're doing something and it's like, wow, this is effective, this is incredibly effective, you've got to assume there's something not quite right with the programming. This is not how they intended it to go. And use it while it lasts, but you need to expect that to go away. They're going to fix that. They're going to figure out why is this happening, and they're going to change it. So the Tonfa not being the go-to weapon for someone like the Stormcaller or some of the higher tiered special zombies, you know what? We should have seen that coming. So we'll move on. We'll find the next good thing or the next best thing, and we'll move on from there. Another one I've seen is that they've adjusted PhD flopper to where it no longer protects you from the gas and ether nests or the fire from dogs. And I believe that falls under the same concept there, that it wasn't intended to do that in the first place. It was just a miscommunication in programming where they have area of effect damage listed in too wide of a space. So, you see things that get fixed like that, and you kind of have to expect it, see it coming. Use it while you can, enjoy it while it lasts, and then when it's gone, move on. I think the biggest issue that we're seeing now with Season 2 coming out was that they fixed the Tombstone glitch. Now, me personally, never did it. As you can tell, I only have 10 items in my stash. And if you preferred that way, if that's how you wanted to play, more power to you. I understand the people's thought process behind it, how they want to be able to go do the super exciting, cool, hard stuff, and that is tied to having some of the best gear. But my theory or my look on this is that it was a glitch. We had to know they were going to fix it. And by using a glitch like the Tombstone glitch, you were basically cutting down your playtime. By being able to stockpile and reuse the highest tiered gear, the price for that is you're able to cut through things in record time over and over. The big thing I see is people would say, I could Tombstone glitch and then go right into the tier 3 zone instead of having to work my way to it. Well, think about that. You were supposed to work your way up to doing that. And you were supposed to have items in your stash that could help you, but not just get you there. Boom, you hit the ground straight into Act 3. And I think getting used to doing that, it has a negative effect on you. And I've seen a lot of comments and statements on people saying that, now Tombstone glitch is gone, people aren't going to be helpful, no one's going to be dropping anything, I'm not playing anymore because, with Tombstone's gone, there's no point in doing it. It's sad you feel that way, but if that's the way you feel, then do what's best for you. Are people still going to be helpful? I don't think there's going to be the anybody have money at the beginning of the match or who needs this. It will cut down on people who are not geared up to do an activity being able to do it with the help of others, because you could find people would say, hey, anyone want to go to Dark Ether? And you run up there, but you're not you could use a PAP 3 gun, or you don't have all the perks that you would want to have in there. They could drop some of the extra money they had. But it's definitely going to cut down on that. But as far as the community being helpful, I don't know that there's too many changes in that aspect. And maybe what you thought was helpful wasn't what I think is helpful. I would rather help somebody achieve something than to just drop it in their laps. But again, it's how I got my epic ether tool schematic that I couldn't get. So I think it does cut down on the bountiful nature that the game has seemed to have. But I think that's what they intended. We weren't supposed to be able to duplicate items and to cut through the content so fast each and every time. So, it's going to be a change in the way things go, but going forward, this is the way we were supposed to play it, and we can adjust, we can learn. There's apparently another way to glitch at least from match to match Tombstone, but you're not going to be able to come out of it like you used to be able to. But whether that's worth it or not, I don't know. I guess we'll just have to see. But let's wrap everything up here. Overall, it's an update. It's a new season. Is it good or bad? I don't know yet. but I am kind of disappointed. There were some changes that I would have liked to have seen that didn't get done. Um, my biggest issue was the stash limits. I think they needed to be expanded, especially if you're going to get rid of the Tombstone glitch. And I'm questioning whether or not we're going to see more operators to expand a strike team that doesn't really have a reason to be expanded. Uh, who knows, you know? And I know I'm kind of being hard on them because they did say in the roadmap that there weren't going to be too many changes to zombies at the start of the season. They were saving it for mid-season content, and I just disagree with that. I think whatever content you're dropping mid-season, you should have dropped it at the start. That's what these seasons are for. These seasons are supposed to be additional content, different things to do, just a new swing. And I just feel like they missed. They missed the ball. But still going to play, though. Like I said, I'm still having fun, still enjoying my time. So I'll still be out there, and hopefully this will be a learning experience. Maybe things will get better in the future, and we'll have better season openings. Well, that's it, guys. As always, if you enjoy the content, please give me a like and subscribe. Feel free to leave a comment down in the comments section, and I will see you out there. Take care.